Hi there. Thank you for tuning in. I really wanted to share my personal story of how I got into subconscious sciences as well as becoming a clinical hypnotherapist and creating conscious harmonics, the business. So before I dive into this story, there's been such an overwhelming amount of emotion that has come through my own transformation, going from a very deep unrest of struggle and limitation, and allowing that to really drive and fuel me to transform myself many times over, in fact. Now, the story is a boiled down version. As if I were to give you the full expanded version, I'd probably be here for over an hour. And I know that you may only have so much time or only have so much time you're willing to spend. So thank you for being here with me. I hope you really enjoy this. I wrote it all out just to really get all the main points in because I know sometimes I could elaborate certain contexts and other things. So the story begins in my late teenage years. I was sitting on the couch watching TV with my parents when I began to realize what I had to look forward to in life. I had a typical middle age, a typical middle class childhood, neither poor nor rich. Both my parents worked really hard. They had a very comfortable, physical, materialistic reality. They had a nice house, nice cars. Everything was nicely set up physically. However, despite the physical comforts, there was something deep inside of me that I wasn't consciously aware of. And this was stirring and causing me discomfort. I didn't really know how to articulate it when I was younger. It was just something that I just really couldn't pinpoint, but I knew something wasn't sitting right within me. So my mom always did her best, but she worried and sometimes excessively. My dad, a constant smoker with unpredictable anger, this all added to the tension that was happening inside of me. So most families have challenges, and I found ways to cope with my feelings. At the time, I didn't know how to describe the feeling, but as I grew older and came to the realization, it was more around depression and anxiety. But these at that time were very mild compared to what was about to come. One day, as I was sitting on the couch watching TV, my whole body pulsed with an irregular heartbeat pattern and tension in my left arm. I honestly thought I was having a heart attack. This was something I've never experienced before, and I was absolutely terrified. This episode began a long journey of hospital visits and doctor appointments spanning over 4 years. I mean, I was in and out of the doctor's office, in and out of the hospitals, both local hospitals, and I even had to travel 2.5 hours to other hospitals. Multiple tests were conducted, but there was no clear conclusions. It was inconclusive. My symptoms worsened, including an irregular heartbeat, bladder issue, severe depression, and anxiety that would cause me to freeze up at random moments. My brain would shut down. I wouldn't even know what to do with myself. And there I was. I just was the time going downhill in my mind. So, despite the doctor's best efforts, and they really did their best, they couldn't fully understand. And I knew this deep down. They didn't fully understand what was happening within my mind, body, and soul. My emotional body, my physical body, my soul. The tests were mainly on the physical side, but there's just so much more that I mean, I couldn't even articulate. I didn't know. I was still quite young. I didn't know exactly what was happening. Now, the tests were inconclusive, and the only answers I received were to explore different medication options. Uh, I decided to try some. Of course, I listened and trusted the doctors. They were doing amazing. They could only do what they could do. But the side effects were not ideal, very less than ideal. And my health continued to decline. So at a certain point, I couldn't stand the emotional pains within me and fears of being physically dependent on the medical system for the rest of my life. I simply lost all care to live the more I went on. I found myself self medicating with all types of substances, including regularly smoking tobacco, haha, like father, like son, chronically smoking marijuana. I mean, I didn't even know what sober felt like at a certain point. I was numbing myself every way I possibly could, drinking alcohol multiple times a week, and using other forms of recreational drugs. I thought, I'm going downhill anyways. Might as well enjoy the party. Might as well enjoy life as I possibly can. And numbing myself and taking recreational drugs was the only thing I had at that point. Um, so you can say I was struggling. I was really good at hiding it as well, but people saw right through me. I honestly was very skinny at a certain point, pale. I looked like a complete disaster. I couldn't even hold a job. Amongst it all, for the longest time, I couldn't even hold a job past 6 months. So I think once I had a job for like 2 months, and I really wanted to keep the job, but my life was a mess, and I was in serious debt as well, and I simply couldn't find myself to care one bit. So my depression became so severe that I had thoughts of suicide multiple times. I went to clear my mind by a lake, staring over the waters as I dug my feet into the sand, and my emotions and tears began to swell from inside me. I reached an ultimatum: either take my own life or take my life into my own hands. So I'm grateful to have chosen to take my life into my own hands, as this initiated an empowering journey of research and exploring many different kinds of personal practices. There's years of trials and errors, and I mean, a lot. Sometimes I was wasting months on methods that were said to work, but didn't. Over time, I explored spiritual and conscious practices along with different teaching lineages. I tried yoga, qigong, meditation, tai chi, and various forms of Chinese medicine. And most of these things I would try for quite a long period of time. But still, they're very subtle. They help me in subtle ways, and of course, my health did improve slightly. But I learned that my physical health issues were related over time to deep-seated anxiety and depression. And so these practices did help in very subtle ways. And I did find that all of my emotions and my mental aspects were causing more of the physical effects. I realized the all these practices weren't, or all my health issues weren't fully going away. And I eventually turned 25, and I knew I needed to speed things up and really solve my health issues completely before it became more challenging with age. As people always say, it gets more difficult with age. I decided to go to Central and South America to really speed things up and work with spiritual teachers, shamans, medicine men and women. In 9 months, I explored many plant medicines, including ayahuasca, peyote, San Pedro. I mean, I was just really looking for anything at that point, and I heard that people are going down to Central South America and taking ayahuasca, having amazing breakthroughs. And so, hey, well, if it helps, it helps. And so, you know, with that, I was also taught about inner work that had nothing to do with plant medicines. I was working with shamans and shaman teachers. And I actually had a rather fortunate, very fortunate synchronicity that led me to have the privilege of working with a Mamo shaman teacher that taught shamans. So the shaman teacher that basically taught shamans up high in the Sierra Nevada mountain range. He taught me how to work with subtle energies, telling me I didn't need plant medicines to do the inner work. And that honestly has stuck with me. So the subtle energies was basically looking to explore my own subconscious and understand the subtle energies that are within me. So all of this helped me move deeper into my subconscious, initiating a profound shift. At first, it was a very subtle shift, but it kept building momentum as the years went on. Although I gained immense value, I was not fully healed. However, this journey of going down to Central South America allowed me to feel deeper within myself and work more on a subconscious level where I found deep seated, unprocessed emotions, beliefs, and patterns. For the first time, I saw true hope for being healed and healthy. So after my travels, I returned to Canada with a renewed focus on my healing journey, focusing on the subconscious, the subtle energies within me. And within a short period of time, I came across hypnotherapy. Now, regardless of what many spiritual and religious people said about hypnotherapy, that I later found was misinformation and confusion on their part, I decided to book multiple sessions and try hypnotherapy out, as hypnotherapy was about accessing the subconscious, and that's just what I was looking for, to work with the subtle energies. A lot of these people that were telling me, "Oh, don't try hypnotherapy, it doesn't work." And the same people that said other things worked, but I tried them and they didn't. And then of course there was religious people that I used to get into a little bit of religious concepts and spiritual understandings. And they always thought hypnotherapy was, mumbo jumbo and it's the devil's work and stuff. But after working with the shaman, I actually found that, well, there's not too many things that actually help a person tap into their subconscious. And so hypnotherapy was one of the main things. I don't really come across anything else to do with working with the subconscious. So hypnotherapy was all about accessing the subconscious. And after numerous sessions, so I went for some sessions, and after numerous sessions, I transformed more in 5 months than I did in 5 years. So this transformation ignited a passion within me to understand everything about subconscious sciences and this form of therapy and why it was actually working. So shortly after, I found a private academy that taught clinical hypnotherapy sciences out of Vancouver, Canada. I pursued all the levels of hypnotherapy available at the time on the premise to learn how to heal myself and look at it as personal development. Meanwhile, going through all these levels of education, I discovered a genuine passion for it. Through this journey, not only did I reverse and heal myself in many ways, but I brought immense joy and excitement into everything I do. I was able to find my passions, my excitements, my purpose, you can say, why I'm here. I know why I'm here. I know what I need to do. And that was all within my subconscious, working in the subtle energies, understanding myself, know thyself, as they say. To this day, I'm really excited to say this. I'm in love with life. I honestly, I can't. I would love to experience more and more life, and is exactly what I'm doing. I have more excitements to act on than I ever have in the day. Honestly, I've found so many excitements uh, that I didn't have enough time in a day, and I started cutting back my sleep. I was doing 17, 18 hours of activities, and I ended up burning myself out because I had so much excitement to do things, versus when I was younger, going through depression, I would sleep like 12 hours a day. I would sleep 14 hours sometimes, and I would keep saying to myself, "What's the point of getting up right now?" And I just remember that. Not only that, I also remember hearing that from someone close to me, depression never goes away, and that I'd have to deal with it for life. The worst part about that statement was that I believed it. What I have found is that that statement was far from the truth. Depression is nothing more than ideas that we hold within, deep within. To be true, we hold to be true. And those same ideas and beliefs can be deleted and even replaced. To this day, I already said, while on my personal journey, I used hypnosis, personal development tools, and techniques to overcome my depression, anxiety, eating habits. I was eating all different types of junk food and things that made me feel good, temporarily, of course. And of course, my self-medicating habits, those all began to disappear and vanish. I no longer smoke. I haven't touched marijuana in years. I'm really excited about where I'm going right now. I'm all about health and well-being. I'm a sproutitarian. I eat ridiculous amount of sprouts, and I eat for the energy, not for the taste. So this in turn gave me gave my physical body the proper instructions from my subconscious, and that allowed my physical health my health issues begin to reverse. So this excitement for learning and working with the subconscious naturally led me to offer clinical hypnotherapy as a profession. I started to share it with different friends and people I know. They began to receive benefit, and so this decision has brought me to where I am today. Helping others transform their lives. Created the business hypnotherapy, and this is all just because clinical hypnotherapy has transformed my life. Unlike most therapists, I did not get into this line of work because I simply wanted to. I got into subconscious therapy based work because it was what transformed my life. The quickest, the easiest, and it was the most effective. Not only that, the transformation stayed. It resonated. It stuck. It wasn't I go through this process and then all of a sudden I fall back into my old ways. It was like I go through the process and I'm integrating it and my life is beginning to change. It's beginning to shift. To this day, I am a fully certified, registered clinical hypnotherapist. I don't really care about that title. I just more care about the passion and dedication I am to continuously proving the art of subconscious sciences and to keep helping people. I want to keep going, of course, with my personal development as well. And that's what I'm going to do. Hypnotherapy has allowed me to heal so much of myself. But not only that, there's so much more to it. I'm now going on a journey through the art of manifestation, fulfillment, and enlightenment through knowing my subconscious, knowing myself, know thyself. So this is just a brief summary of everything I offer and do today. I have a background of all the subconscious sciences that actually matter to get profound shifts in a person's life, um, and I've also looked at stress management. I've done public speaking, trained in Toastmasters, I've published a book. I'm a passionate and dedicated researcher. I'll continue to look for the easiest and most effective ways to change. And of course, I've been able to transform my career and completely just fall in love with life, really fall in love with life. All right, so that is it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Got a little bit of emotions going there. So hopefully I was pretty steady through my story. Bye for now.